So someone sent me this, and it's called How Gamers Are Facilitating the Rise of the Alt-Right. And it's NBC News. You might remember NBC News if you were with us during GamerGate, when they put out multiple hit pieces about gamers, and how they were terrible people. I'm not sure if I can call myself a gamer anymore after my experiences with Wolfenstein. I'm going to blame it on my mouse, which is very unresponsive, because it's not a gaming mouse. But let's have a quick look.
Before white supremacists, neo-Nazis, and white nationalists marched in Charlottesville, Virginia in August, they were organizing behind a computer screen.
And that means the gamers are suspect. All of them. Because neo-Nazis have played video games. You know, those things that are available on the market that literally anyone can buy? I dare say a fair few Antifa members have played video games as well. Where's your hit piece about that, NBC?
A lot of that organizing happened through a messaging service called Discord, which...
Well, it also happened on Facebook, didn't it? And Twitter, and various other social media apps. I mean, you're not condemning them, but Discord has grown by its own merits and seems to have a large user base of people online of varying persuasions. Not many of them are progressive, though, I guess is the problem, isn't it?
Which was originally created to connect video game players to one another.
And somehow that means the alt-right has infected them. Video gaming will no longer be pure. Oh, what shall we do?
This is just the latest in the long-running shared history between the game...
KKK hurt. Yes. Oh, Jesus Christ. Video gaming is basically like being a part of the Ku Klux Klan. Carry on.
Gaming community and the alt-right.
Connect the dots. I love it. I absolutely love it. Thankfully it's a digital version rather than just being across the board with strings connecting everything.
Gaming culture has always been racist, it's always been sexist, but the internet has sort of allowed us to just sort of see what has always been there.
Holy shit, that's a hell of a statement. Gaming culture has always been racist and sexist. How do you explain all the non-white people and non-male people who inhabit the space perfectly fine? How do you explain that if... I mean, why would they be allowed in? Maybe it really doesn't matter.
Emma Vossen is a PhD candidate studying how sexism seeded in gaming is replicated in the real world.
Oh, I can really trust this person's opinion. No bias in their studies, I'm sure.
Her study is based on GamerGate, a movement that
Oh, God! This looks like a real tweet, doesn't it?
began with intimidating and harassing female video game journalists.
Oh, wait, I remember this. These were from an account called, like, Howard or something. Just some random account that were... You can see, like, it says, 1 minute tweeted ago. Because I can't remember whether it was Brianna Ware or Anita Sarkeesian, but they had taken a screen grab of all of these within the minute or so that they'd been put up. So, I mean, they must have coincidentally just been right there looking at their feed and been like, oh my god, look what this guy sent. Quick, I'll screen grab this, and then go to the UN.
Under the guise of fairness in video game journalism. The
That's what the people supporting Gamergate cared about. I mean, what I love about this is that none of this account, I remember this account, only because I saw the screen grabs of it at the time, nothing to do with Gamergate. Not a single Gamergate supporting or opposing tweet. I get the feeling it was just, if it wasn't a false flag, it was clearly someone who hated these people. It doesn't mean they're Gamergate, that just means they're someone who's going to abuse Twitter.
harassment quickly gained traction. It helped catalyze the alt-right movement, which secured...
Gamergate was mostly a left-wing movement. There was a political compass going around where thousands of people had literally gone through their political compass, compiled it all into one screenshot, and it was disproportionately left libertarian. People just don't want your bollocks pushed on them when they're trying to play video games. Yeah, I imagine there were alt-right people who also supported Gamergate, but the alt-right is tiny and has a reach vastly disproportionate to its size and actual influence in politics. But you guys love the alt-right, don't you? It's really convenient for you that the alt-right exists, because you can use the alt-right. It's the perpetual boogeyman. Look at this, there are 2,000 of these people in Charlottesville with tiki torches. Yes, there are. And that's all they could muster. That's it. I mean, back in, what was it, 2012 or 2014, where the Reason Rally got 30,000 people, and they're atheists in America. I mean, admittedly, that was killed by social justice, but I mean, this goes to show you the size of the alt-right. If they can only muster 2,000 people, that's a tiny movement. I really don't know why anyone pays any attention to it, but there we go. What are you going to do?
Power and prominence during the 2016 election cycle.
When you were
GamerGate put Donald Trump in office. Get wrecked.
studying GamerGate and you were really looking at the techniques that they used.
The techniques that they used. You mean they memed you? And and the alt-right memed Hillary Clinton. And they memed Donald Trump. Oh my goodness. You can't be sure that it wasn't Russian bots, though, let's be honest.
It's impossible not to see the same techniques being used by Trump supporters.
I'm going to get a lot of hate just for wearing this hat. You know, I actually got it from Trump Tower. I don't... Because I don't really care. I really don't care about Donald Trump. He's just a means to an end. Sorry, Mr. Trump. Mr. President. Unfortunately, he's just a useful idiot for my cause, which is defeating them.
According to Vossen, the
Here's an unrelated picture of someone playing a video game. Thanks.
gamers and the alt-right share common ground.
As people who are marginalized are fighting for equality, those who've traditionally had privilege, you know, especially white men, feel that they are being oppressed by...
Wow, that's amazing. The alt-right and gamers are traditionally privileged. You see, they're not the marginalised people of society, despite the fact that they are quite obviously the marginalised people of society. I mean, gamers not so much these days, because gaming has become one of the largest entertainment industries in the world. But they used to be marginalised. It used to be sad and nerdy to play video games. I remember being teased in school for it. Well, by a few people. I remember that it used to be the nerdy thing. No one cool wanted to play video games. But now everyone plays video games. It's just a mainstream thing because everyone does it. And the alt-right really are marginalised. I mean, when the fuck do you think the alt-right were a politically viable mainstream proposition? How far back do you have to go? You know, that's the question. How many decades? Yeah, I mean, it's literally pre-civil rights era, isn't it? That's literally how far back you have to go when the alt-right would have been a credible mainstream political position. Unbelievable that social justice warriors... I mean, like, this person's coming from an institution. She's a PhD candidate. You know, she's going to probably become a professor. She is the one in the institution that is the one marginalising certain kinds of people, and she claims that she's the marginalised, or she represents the marginalised. It's incredible. And she's demonizing minority group here, which is, again, incredible.
By these people who are trying to just be treated as equal.
Why do you hate black people? African Americans.
They're dirty, they're stingy, and they're just gross.
Xbox Live.
Wow, did you find a racist playing Call of Duty? Incredible. He was probably wearing his clan hood when he was playing. It's like... They don't seem to understand what shit talking is. But even then, I'm not defending this guy. Okay, you found a racist. Well done, good job. It's a racist. Would you like me to find you a communist? Or is that not morally equivalent in your eyes?
Live and PlayStation Network both allow players to chat live while gaming. They
Tell you what, that was a mistake, wasn't it? Not what you actually want, is it?
have become havens for hate speech against women and minorities.
Havens for hate speech. Dun dun dun. Hate speech is free speech. I don't even necessarily agree with, like, hate speech. I don't go around, like, committing hate speech. That's because I don't personally want to. If someone else wants to, that's their right to do so, no matter how much I or you or anyone else might object to it. And, yeah, sure, you can say, well, Discord or wherever, they're private companies, they can censor it. They can. But if they choose not to, they're private companies, and they chose not to. So get over it.
What I had noticed and witnessed was what I call like linguistic profiling.
Imagine race, gender, and... what was that? Sorry, what was that? Race, gender, and deviance in Xbox Live. It's really important stuff. Hard-hitting. Investigative journalism from Kishona Gray. Really important. Carry on, Kishona.
Profiling, like just based on how somebody sounds, you know, they kind of lash out in like very like inappropriate ways.
Yeah, they're trying to hurt you because they think that you'll be thrown off your game so they can win. It's a tactic. It's not necessarily reflective of something the person actually believes, but they do think that it's going to piss you off enough so you'll miss them and they'll shoot you first. Believe it or not, that's actually the mindset that these people are approaching these games with.
Who votes for mission? Do they allow girls to play Call of Duty in America?
Wow, they allow morons to play Call of Duty in America?
And she's striking right back. Because the guy, let's be honest, he does sound like a fucking moron.
Not everyone in the gaming community is sexist or racist. We are having this sort of internal cultural problem.
Not everyone is sexist or racist. How generous of you. That's really shocking. I'm surprised you didn't just condemn everyone as being a sexist and a racist. But I suppose you can't really take over a community that is composed entirely of sexist and racists, because whose good intentions are you going to prey on then? And we're like, well, excuse me, you're all sexist and racist, and they'll go, yeah, fuck off, nigga. And then you'll be like, well, can I guilt trip you into not saying nasty words to me, please? And they'll say, no.
With sexist and racist
Oh,
gamers.
that was sexist. I'm pretty sure this is like a Halloween game or something, or like Jason Voorhees, some horror thing. But I love the way they've lined that up there. Sexist and racist, and they go, kills a woman. Oh, definitely sexism. That character never kills a man in that game, I'm certain.
So, what happens when these behaviors move from the gaming world to the real world?
Look at all these gamers with their Confederate flags. Gamers, typical. Always dressing up in clan hoods and their Confederate flags. It's just literally what every gamer does.
Keegan Hanks...
Oh, not everyone, sorry. Not all gamers are Confederate, flag-waving KKK neo-Nazis. Just, most of them.
studies the progression of the alt-right on the web.
Discord, as a platform, kind of had a meteoric rise in the alt-right. I think many of the members of the alt-right were actually aware of it because they were also members of the video game community.
I imagine many of them are. And they use Discord because it's a useful tool. But again, they use Twitter and Facebook for the same thing. I don't see you complaining about that.
Many of them are. Discord became almost a requirement for a lot of these people if you wanted to be actively involved in the movement.
Discord is anonymous and lightly monitored, which allowed the alt-right to control communications and access for thousands of users.
You guys understand that, like, Richard Spencer, Baked Alaska, and, like major alt-right figures are all verified on Twitter, don't you? You understand that, like, there are, tens of thousands of alt-right accounts operating on Twitter right now, openly in the public, on your safe space, and you don't care, do you? Because what are you going to do? Get Twitter to try and ban them all? Oh, you did that! And then after a big backlash, Twitter reinstated them all, didn't they? And started verifying them, didn't they? So what are you going to do? Get Discord to... I don't mean, how are you even going to deplatform these people? If they're all anonymous, how exactly can you deplatform these people? Finding yourself in a bit of a conundrum, aren't you?
Some Discord servers controlled by alt-right leaders made users post pictures of their Caucasian skin in order to participate.
Okay, that's a foolproof plan. Assuming that's true, the fact that you're reporting on that is amazing and hilarious to me. But well done, Discord alt-writers. Yes, I'm absolutely certain that you were convinced that this wasn't just a screenshot of a white person from Google. You can be absolutely certain. Like, if you're a black person, why would you want to play in an alt-right Discord? Holy shit.
This allowed the alt-right to centralize its message and disseminate information around the Charlottesville rallies. Discord service played a substantial role in fomenting the riots that led to the death of Heather Heyer.
How did she die exactly? It was a heart attack, wasn't it?
After facing pressure, Discord shut down the servers used to organize in Charlottesville.
Probably due to the mass pressure being placed on their platform, even though they are not responsible for how people use their platform, but carry on.
The company stated, "We will continue to take action against white supremacy, Nazi ideology, and all forms of hate."
Do you think we can pressure Discord into kicking commies off of it? Because I'd really like to start pressuring commies in the same way Nazis get pressured. Because I really do not think there is a moral distinction between communists and Nazis. They are... The only difference is if they're nationalists. You're either a nationalist or you're an internationalist. Either way, you're a goddamn socialist collectivist scumbag who wants to literally control every single person in your in the world or in your nation. Fucking pick one. But yes, I'm going off into the weeds. Sorry.
Perhaps not surprisingly, James Alex Fields Jr., the white supremacist charged for Hire's death, was no stranger to video games. In 2010, his
My god, he's played a video game? Well, there must be something wrong with the video games then, surely. They're turning them on to Nazism. How could this be happening? It must be Discord's fault.
mother filed a complaint against him, claiming he struck her in the head and locked her in the bathroom because she told him to stop playing video games.
Wow, there we go. Don't tell a Nazi not to play his video games, because otherwise he'll beat you up. It's what all Nazis do. It's not this guy has, I don't know, some kind of mental problems or something. No. This is just basically a reflection of gamers. God, you're all such Nazis. How could you? That's an embarrassment. The idea that you think this is in any way representative of something that is actually happening in real life is amazing to me. I mean, like, you can go to any video game community on the web and see it's just a community of people. You have to go to specific spaces to find alt-right ideas that are popular, that are just, being openly discussed. It really is marginal in these larger communities. But you know what? Who cares? What difference does it make? You've got your little, think piece. For anyone who's curious, these will never end. Anything that's opposing the progressive narrative will inevitably be deemed heretical and evil, and eventually tied to GamerGate. Looking forward to getting that misogyny on Mars, though, I've got to say.